presentation of the Oklahoma Sports Network.
Welcome, everyone, to the Elgin Coaches Show. We're live here at Burrito Mico. I want to thank you all for joining us. I want to thank Miguel and everybody here at Burrito Mico for hosting us every Tuesday for the Elgin Coaches Show. We've got a great show for you tonight. We've got offense coordinator Coach Adam Castro joining us, and also later in the show we'll have Kason Meyer and Hudson Begley join us as well. So looking forward to recapping the big win over MacArthur, 42-21 on Friday night. Then we'll also preview the upcoming game against Hillcrest. Again, you're watching the Elgin Owl Coaches Show on the Oklahoma Sports Network. And we're back here live at Burrito Mico for the Elgin Owls Coaches Show. Like I said, Elgin took care of business against MacArthur on Friday night with a big victory to make the winning streak go to 15 with a 42-21 win over the MacArthur Highlanders. That's 4 in a row that Elgin has taken care of business against Mac. So people like Ritzenmeyer and those guys, the whole that senior class has yet to lose to MacArthur in their 4 years of varsity ball. Big game by Ritzen, obviously, with the 5 touchdowns. Also had 166 yards rushing on the night and 59 yards receiving. He was named the offensive player of the game. Braxton Antuna also had a great game with 75 yards on the ground as well with 1 touchdown. Caden Boletto, in his first start as an Owl, went 10 for 17 for 129 yards and did a great job of kind of managing the game and getting things in and out of the right plays, and did a great job after the first quarter of kind of settling in and doing a good job there as a new starting quarterback. Also, Kaysen and Corday led the team with 2 catches apiece. Kaysen had 25 yards. Corday had 21 yards there. Bryce Martin was named the defensive player of the week with that 1 big interception, kind of piggying back off of what he did last year, kind of as that honey owl that we talk about all the time. So he did a great job of shutting down 2 big D1 receivers. So Bryce Martin gets the defensive player of the game. The Sharpen Your Axe Award, we'll talk to Coach Castro a little bit about what that means exactly, was given to Kason Meyer. The special teams player was kicker Ian Krenz, who did a great job kicking off, converting all of his extra points, but also doing a good job. Well, we had the 1 fumbled snap, so did not convert all of the extra points, but all the ones that he did get the opportunity to kick, put those in, and did a good job with a couple great kickoffs all the way back for a touchback, and then also held them into about 15 yards or whatnot. So that helps the defense out a ton there. So Ian Krenz is your special teams player of the week. And then also your Rough Rider of the week was Hudson Begley. And then your practice player of the week, as we talked about on Friday, was Jake Croft for his week of practice leading up to the MacArthur game. Like I said, overall a sound game. Gave up 21 points. Like I said, Coach Baker probably not too thrilled about that. One of them was kind of in garbage time there. But like I said, really responded well to some adversity. Got down 14-13 at one point. The offense took the ball right over and went down and scored to make it 21-13. So they did a great job of kind of dealing with some adversity there and kind of fighting back. And then, like I said, the second half really took control of the game and put things away pretty early there towards the start of the fourth quarter. So at the end of the day, I mean, another solid win against another good football team makes us 15 in a row, obviously 1-0 on the season. A lot of times coaches always say that the biggest improvement is from week 1 to week 2, so it'll be interesting to see what Coach Castro and those guys talk about as what needs to be improved heading into the big matchup against Hillcrest. We'll have all the action live here on the Oklahoma Sports Network from Dallas. Game kickoff is actually at 7:30, so we'll go live at 7. But like I said, we'll have all the action for you there in Dallas right here on the Oklahoma Sports Network. So when we come back on the other side of this break, we'll have offensive coordinator Adam Castro to kind of talk a little bit about what's going on in the MacArthur game and then what to see and preview there for Hillcrest. Again, you're watching the Elgin Owl Coaches Show on the Oklahoma Sports Network.
Any other use of this telecast or any pictures, descriptions, or accounts of the game without the Oklahoma Sports Network's consent is prohibited. It may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be used without express written consent.
And we're back here at Burrito Miko. Again, join us every Tuesday night for the Elgin Coaches Show. Actually won't have one next Tuesday because we do have an off week next week, but we'll have one prior to the Newcastle game where we'll review the Hillcrest game and kind of talk a little bit about Newcastle. But now I've got offensive coordinator Adam Castro here with me. Coach Castro, obviously Mac's always a big rivalry. We've done pretty well with him the last 3 years and got another big victory on Friday night. Talk a little bit about kind of your first impressions of this 2025 Owls team.
Yeah, Friday night was a lot of fun. You know, like you said, big rivalry, so you never really know kind of how settled in you're going to be to start the game. And, you know, I think you kind of saw a little bit of week 0 in our first drive, first possession, and as well as some of the, you know, nerves and things that go into that with the rivalry. And we had 4 penalties and 8 snaps, so that's not ideal.
Right.
We were hurting ourselves, and we talk and preach no and self-inflicting wounds because the defenses we play enough are tough enough already. We don't need to do anything to hurt ourselves. But, you know, it was good to see the kids, you know, kind of face a little adversity early. We trailed at one point in the game, 14-13. Bounced back next possession and scored to go up before half. And then, you know, defense had a great 3-and-out coming out in the second half. And then we kind of got the ball rolling with a blocked punt. And then another punt that was punted into somebody and gave us some really good field position. And so we could put some points on the board and kind of had a really, really exceptional third quarter. And then finished the game off strong and finished with a solid victory.
Talk a little bit, like I said, Caden Belletto, obviously first-year starter, first game getting behind the center, and did a great job. I mean, like I said, kind of managed the game fairly well, 10 for 17, no turnovers, 129 yards passing. Didn't ask him to do a whole lot at the end of the day, but ultimately, like I said, I mean, had a good game, managed the game well. Talk a little bit about, as the offense coordinator, you know, how that felt, and like I said, I mean, I know you're used to being with Trace back there, so talk a little bit about how he played and what he can improve on moving into week 2.
You know, Caden, I think he's just a really, really good athlete. He's played a lot of football. You know, he sat behind Trace for the last 2 years, but he, in no way, shape, or form are we holding him back, I wouldn't say. I think we can call it. He played and feel confident about it. He knows where we expect the ball to go when we call things, and he's got a really good understanding of what we like and what we want to do and how to do it. And we put a lot on him, honestly. I know maybe we didn't throw it a ton, but we did. We put a lot on his plate because we were motioning quite a bit to what they were doing defensively, and we would do double motions, and that's really kind of tough with the operation and making sure you're set and all those things. And he did a great job with it, and that gives me a lot of confidence, and us as a staff a lot of confidence going forward with knowing that the operation aspect of it he's gotten down really well. And because we first start ever, that was a lot that we put on him,
right?
And he handled it really well. And I'm excited for him in his junior year. I think he's poised for a big year.
Obviously, the talk of the town is Ritson with the 5 touchdowns there. He becomes Elgin's all-time career TD scorer, and also Elgin's all-time career scoring record now with 378 points and those 62 touchdowns, both records that he surpassed Matt Lunn on last week. Talk a little bit about what he means to the offense, and what it's like when he gets going and kind of running the way he does.
We were talking after the game Friday night, you and I, and we were talking just about how exceptional of a person he is. On and off the field. He's an awesome kid, makes you laugh. Contagious smile, and he's not the fastest kid. He's not the strongest kid. He's not the best at any individual thing on the field, but he's the best player on the field.
Yeah,
and it's without a doubt. And I think a lot of it is just he's the best competitor I've ever been around. Without a doubt, he doesn't lose. He doesn't know how to, and. There's a couple times we don't block very, very well up front, and he makes a guy miss in the backfield and makes another guy miss 2 yards past the line of scrimmage, and then spins off another and gets a gain of 7, and he worked his tail off.
Right.
And then we joked Friday night, he's changed my life, what he's been able to do for us in this program and this community. And thank God he's in Elgin now, I'll tell you that.
Yeah. Talk a little bit about Braxton, too. Like I said, Braxton ended up with 75 yards, a touchdown on the night as well. Talk about how it makes it as a play caller that much better. Like I said, it doesn't really matter which one you have in there. They're a little bit of different styles to a certain degree, but at the end of the day, you've got such a formidable 1-2 punch. Talk about what Braxton brings to the offense as that kind of, thunder and lightning type deal.
Yeah, and you can say thunder and lightning, and I know a lot of people want to naturally, but Braxton will run through your face.
Yeah.
And there's no doubt about it. He's a tough kid. He's got great speed, and he kind of has more of a cut and get vertical now than maybe Ritson does in different ways, like you said, different styles. But also with what we do offensively, they both have a good feel for where things are going to hit and how they're going to hit with the different tags we can put on runs and different formations we do with the same run, and kind of understanding, are they pulling 2, are they pulling 3, and kind of understand the front in front of them, how long it may develop and all that stuff. And they've got great vision. They've got great ability. They protect the football really well. And Coach Hill does a great job with them, and does a great job Friday night rotating them and keeping them fresh. And, we can call every single play in our offense with either one of them on the field and feel really good about it.
All right, so talk a little bit, obviously, your bread and butter is made on the offensive side of the ball, and the offensive line specifically. Let's talk a little bit about how those guys played up front. Like I said, again, we talk about it with Caden some. You got 3 pretty good ones to have to fill in for now. But obviously the offensive line did a great job. Caden really didn't see that much pressure, and then obviously opened some big holes with the amount of rushing yards that we had as well. So talk a little bit about those guys, and then ultimately Hudson Begley named Rough Rider of the Week.
Yeah, so we've had 3 new guys step in, and we've got guys that are still somewhat battling, and there's iron sharpens iron, so we're not going to settle for anything. And but the unit played really well. 400 yards of total offense. That doesn't happen with the bad offense line,
right?
No matter who you're playing, and we played a good defense this last week, and I was really proud to see them in their efforts, and they had to handle a lot because Coach Holmes over there does a lot defensively, 3-man, 4-man, bringing pressure from the field, doing all sorts of different things to try to make it difficult on the offensive line and get their eyes in different places and make them play slow, but. They just stuck to the rules. They did well. It was week 0, and it's hopefully the worst they're going to play, but they played well enough to put up a good, productive offense, and I was really proud of that. And like you said, Hudson Begley's here, and he's going to talk with you guys. He's Rough Rider of the Week. He graded at 88 overall, which is really exceptional, especially early in the year, because it does take time to get in a rhythm and to get in a groove and to play such an unnatural position as offensive line and trying to do things that – you're not just born to do. It's not like going out there and playing receiver and, hey, go run a go route.
Right.
Yeah, I did that when I was 6 years old with my dad, and you know what I'm saying? And everybody does things like that, but it's really unnatural, and he did it, and he's really good with his technique, and we're blessed to have him, and he kind of leads that unit, and we're really proud of him.
Talk a little bit. C.J. Devine was named the 6th captain of the week this week. Talk a little bit about him stepping in as a senior now. Like I said, battled some injuries early in his career, but now he's getting the opportunity to play, and obviously must have been a big moment for him getting named that 6th captain of the week.
Yeah, CJ is he's a really awesome kid. This last, I don't know, 6 months or so, 7 months or so, he's really kind of just like blossomed and gotten out of the shell a little bit and been a more confident kid. And with that, you can see him having more fun. And as a coach, what more do you want than your kids having fun playing an awesome game? And he's doing that. And he's a good competitor. He understands what we're trying to do. Really proud of him, and he's a force out there. And some of the things that he can do, not everybody else can do because of his size and strength and athletic ability. So, him being named a 6th captain, and it was great to see. He had a great week of practice and preparation, and, it's only going to make him better, and he's going to continue to make our group better and help our offense go.
Talk a little bit. We played 5 tight ends. I know that's Coach Wyatt's kind of baby these days in his position, whatnot. But we played 5 tight ends throughout the entire game. Talk about how those guys have really stepped up and made things a little bit easier, not only for the offensive line, but also we use them a decent amount in the passing game. So talk about their ability. Like I said, Phil had some good ones last year as well, but again, all 5 of those guys were able to step up and make some big plays individually throughout the entire game.
Yeah, tight end is a tough position for us to play and to learn everything that we do. We're going to line them up online. We're going to line them up as a receiver. We're going to line them up as a sniffer, H-back, and we're going to move them around. We're going to ask them to do different things. Every tag that we have kind of messes with them, and they've got to learn a lot. And sometimes they're the number 3 receiver inline tight end, and sometimes the number 1 receiver as a nub tight end. And so it's hard, and it's a lot. And we put a lot on them, and if they can figure it all out, then our offense can go. Without them being dialed in, knowing exactly what to do, when to do it, and knowing the rules, it's going to be really tough for us to execute what we want to, and then we become super vanilla. But with their variety of how they can do things and where they can be and line up, it really helps us go. And Coach White does a great job, and he's got his hands full because, but the good thing is he's done such a great job. He's got 5 guys ready.
Right.
So we got 5 guys that can do everything that we're asking them to do. And it's a blessing for us to be able to keep those guys fresh, and they all have their own little skill set and kind of have their own identity as a player. Of, we call play, and there's 2 of them out there, and they know, maybe he's the better corner out runner,
right.
I'm the better drag runner or something like that, or
right.
I'm the better down blocker, he's the better J blocker, and they kind of fit that themselves, and it's really fun to watch them evolve and do that on their own. And, Coach White's done a great job with them, and, they are the focal point of our offense for sure whenever it comes to the organization and the strategic side of getting everything done.
All right, so before we wrap up, MacArthur, let's talk a little bit players of the week. Obviously, Offensive Player of the Week, Ritz Meyer. We talked a little bit about him. 166 yards, 5 touchdowns. What more can you say about him? Defensive Player of the game. I know that you're an offensive guy, but at the end of the day, Bryce Martin with another big interception. It's kind of anytime you see him on the defensive side of the ball, it's kind of always around the ball. So talk a little bit about Bryce Martin and kind of, like I said, what those turnovers do for you as an offensive coordinator and how it sets up some of the play calling and things.
Bryce, he's exceptional. I think you guys coined him the Honey Owl.
Honey Owl, yeah.
He's a special player. Has had an awesome career so far. Started off his senior year great the other night. He made that super athletic interception on the 3-yard line. But to me, the best player of the game, and you go back and watch it, and you see all their coaches are fired up too. The first 3rd down in the second half, he comes out, he stuffs the jet, and he doesn't make the tackle, but he stops it, and everybody rallies to it. And that was an exceptional play for him, in the position that he was in. And, he's such a fun kid, and he's awesome, and he plays really, really hard. And, he gets the ball back for us, and we like to let it rip after that.
Talk a little bit about just the defensive performance. Like I said, I know you're an offensive coordinator or whatnot, but you're in the box and whatnot, and you can watch those guys all game. Talk a little bit about their performance against Mac. High explosive offense. You got a D1 receiver. You got another D1, linebacker / safety that they were trying to put some more on offense this year. Really didn't see much of him in that game. But talk a little bit about what you saw from the defense in game 1 against Mac.
They drew a tough assignment early. One, it's week 0, and you're going against a tempo offense where they snap it every 12 seconds or maybe even faster, whatever it is. And so they've got to, be in shape. And when they're getting gashed a little bit, and not on the field, but their physical bodies are getting tired and worn down, they've got to be sharp enough to still, I got to get the B gap on this short stick. I've got to stack to fall back at linebacker, and I've got to make sure I'm at this leverage out at corner and safety and all those things. And it's we've got a great defense coordinator, Coach Baker, who harps on not necessarily like how many different things we can do defensively, but how we're going to do what we do,
right?
Which is get to the football, tackle well, and do all those things. And I know he's not just super pleased with everything that happened, which is good, and that's who he is, and that's when he's at his best. And but defensively, I've never have a doubt defensively with what we got because of who's in charge and the way that he's prepared those awesome athletes to go out there and perform.
So next we're going to talk about Sharpen Your Axe Award. But before we talk about that, explain to our audience kind of what that means to you guys as coaches and kind of how you get to finding that player. This week's Sharpen Your Axe Award goes to Case and Meyer. So talk a little bit about, like I said, what that award means and how you guys come to figure out who that player is going to be of the week.
Sharpen Your Axe Award, and goes back to our mantra of sharpen your axe. Of if I've got to chop a tree down and I got 6 hours, I'm going to spend the first 4 sharpening my axe. So it's just about the preparation and the work that goes into it. And just like, and that kind of goes into another thing we say all the time. You're going to practice football a whole lot more than you play. So all the preparation, all from practice to the weight room to the film room, you do that so much more than you do play on Friday night. At most, we're going to get to play 14 games at most if we sharpen our axe well enough and do things and all of that. But so that's kind of we highlight that and we reward people that put that out there and display that. And that's Case and Meyer. Drew a tough assignment. Now he's the voice of the defense now. Yeah. He gets everybody lined up. He calls the defense. He's got to do all the things, and the defense revolves around him. And so he does that. He did that, and then he also plays a ton on offense for us. He scored a bunch of touchdowns last year for us. He's going to score a bunch this year as well, and he's a great blocker out on the edge offensively. He had a couple awesome tackles, just form fit, run your feet tackles, and that were highlighted. And he is kind of our do-everything guy. And
yeah.
And that doesn't happen without the preparation. So that's why he was named Sharpen Your Axe Player of the Week.
Special Teams Player of the Week. Only been around about a week, I guess
yeah.
you could say. Ian Krenz. Like I said, look, did a great job on extra points. Obviously, we had the one bad snap there, but like I said, converted all of his extra points. And then obviously kickoff, that's a huge weapon for us now with the way that he can get it back there so far. So talk a little bit about him and like I said, how he's doing so far, only a week into it.
I don't even really know him very well, but
I don't think any of us do yet.
He's a character. He came out and ran a little bit of track last year, and he was a tough kid, and that was cool to see. And he came out, just battled hard, worked hard, and but so that's kind of the extent of what I know him. And then I've seen him at practice. I don't work with him, and that's a good thing for him. I don't know anything about any of that stuff. So, but I think for the most part he did a great job performance-wise. But what I like to see is I think he loved it. I think he had a ton of fun.
Yeah.
And for us, so that was really cool to see. Great job, Ian. Let's keep doing it.
Exactly. And last but not least, we talked a little bit about him earlier, but Rough Rider of the Week, Hudson Begley. Talk a little bit about how that Rough Rider of the Week and what the Rough Rider mantra is as an offensive line coach and things like that.
The offensive line is like all guts, no glory. They're kind of the unsung heroes, and we kind of took the Rough Rider deal from Teddy Roosevelt and the Spanish-American War and how the Rough Riders played such a key role in kind of the victory in it, but they're not talked about a lot, kind of like an offensive lineman. And so we kind of just ran with that. But, Hudson, been around him and his family since I moved here, and he was just a little sixth grader at the time.
Right.
And I remember junior high football practice, being out there and being a scout team nose for him or center for him, and he was the nose, and I pushed him around a little bit, and that was a lot of fun. And just but just it all being, it's so fun being here and being able to be involved with these kids at such a young age all the way through. And we were warming up Friday night, and I was giving everybody high five through the lines, and I got to Hudson, and I choked up and just told him, it's finally your team, Hudson.
Yeah.
And that was really cool to see, and just
and still a junior.
Yeah.
So.
But who he is to our program can't be understated. He's the hardest worker we got, does everything the right way, loves football, loves his teammates, loves his community, and he represents the Rough Riders in every way.
Awesome. Well, that kind of puts a wrap on the MAC game. So we're going to take a quick break, and then we'll come back and talk a little bit more about Hillcrest coming up. Dallas Hillcrest, got to make a little bit of a road trip there, but we'll talk about that coming up. You're watching the Elgin Iowa Coaches Show on the Oklahoma Sports Network. And we're back here live at Burrito Miko for the Elgin Owls Coaches Show. Joining me today is Coach, Offensive Coordinator Adam Castro. Coach, we'll talk a little bit about Hillcrest now. Obviously last year was able to take advantage of those guys, kind of taking the long road trip up. Obviously now this time we've got to take the long road trip. Obviously want to thank the Hillary family. They're providing some charter buses for not only the football team but for the Owlettes and the band to also make their way down to Dallas so we can provide a good show for the people down to Texas. Everybody always talks about Texas high school football and this, that, and the other. And obviously last year we were able to show them a little bit about how we do things here in Oklahoma. Talk a little bit about the travel. What are the plans there? I mean, y'all stopping and having a walk through somewhere? Kind of talk to us a little bit about that if that's kind of been settled yet.
Yeah, I think from what I understand, we're getting those charter buses, which is a huge blessing. I don't want to drive a yellow dog all the way down there, but yeah, that's going to be huge for us. And there's plenty of room, and there's a restroom on there, and so. But we are going to plan to stop at South Lake Carroll, walk to the field, use the restroom, do all those things, and kind of stretch our legs before we get all the way to the stadium. Which that's a really, really cool deal that South Lake's going to open up their facility for us to do that. And then get to the game about 5, or to the stadium about 5. We don't play till 7:30.
Yeah, a little bit later of a kickoff.
So that'll give us plenty of time, get taped and do all the things, have our meetings, and yeah, excited for it. It'll be fun. I've coached a game in Dallas before whenever Dion was coaching Prime Prep Academy. We went down there and played, and so I mean it's very doable. I mean we went to Woodward last year to take long trips. It'll be fun. It'll be a cool experience for our kids.
Talk us a little bit about Hillcrest. Like I said, obviously last year got a cool coaching staff, especially you as a Texas fan. I got Sergio Kendall and some of those guys on that staff. Like I said, talk a little bit about what to expect from those guys, and like I said, I mean what we need to take advantage of to make sure that we can come out with the 16th victory in a row and start this season off 2-0.
Yeah, they were under a first-year head coach last year, and he's back, and so they're going to be improved. For the year 1 to year 2 improvement of being in the system and all those things. So they're improved, and on film they're going to give us defensively a 4-man front. Looks like a 4-2-5, but they can mix it up. Go with some 1-high stuff and mix the coverage up in the back end. They're athletic. They've got a really big 3 technique, and they run to the ball really well, and they got some speed in the back end. But as long as we handle things up front, and like we got to get rid of those 4 penalties in the first 8 plays and things like that. I think we can find ourselves having some success, but. All those things are easier said than done. We got to go execute, and we're going to have a tough challenge.
Obviously, you talked about the 4 penalties in the first 8 plays or whatnot. Talk a little bit, like I said, we kind of mentioned it earlier in the show. I mean, coaches always talk about how your biggest improvement is from week 1 to week 2, obviously week 0 to week 1, whatever you want to say. So talk about what do you see on the offensive side of the ball? It needs to be improved the most moving forward. Outside of the penalties, we've talked a little bit about those, but talk about what you want to see from the offense this week that maybe you didn't see or that was a little rusty or whatnot from last week.
We talked about this in film this morning. Just we want to control the controllables better. If I'm supposed to step with my inside foot to my inside gap on a gap scheme, I want to do that, and I want to do that the best I can, not just kind of turn that direction. I want to do my technique as well as I can and control those controllables, so where I can put myself in an easier place to have success rather than making it more difficult on myself. And that, not just up front, but at all our positions. Just do the little things in a big way, and that's kind of something we also preach all the time is. Make the little things are the biggest things, and if we do those, then everything that we want is going to be on the other side of that success. So, for me, offensively, just clean up ourselves individually, and then if we do that individually, collectively, our offense will see a big rise in production.
Sounds great. Well, Coach Castro, thanks so much for joining us on this week's version of the Elgin Owl Coaches Show. We look forward to seeing you down in Dallas. We'll have all the live action for you. The pregame show starts at 7. We'll have all the, like I said, kickoffs a little bit later, so kickoff will start at 7:30. We'll have all the live action here on the Oklahoma Sports Network. We'll be back with a couple players after this. You're watching the Elgin Owl Coaches Show on the Oklahoma Sports Network.
Download our free apps on Apple and Android devices. Plus, find us on Roku, Amazon Fire, and Apple TV. Search Oklahoma Sports Network and watch from anywhere.
this line up there. It'd be a lot better. But.
And we're back here at Burrito Miko live on the Elgin Owl Coaches Show. I've got two players here with me. Got juniors, Hudson Begley and Kaysen Meyer. I want to congratulate you guys on the big victory, obviously, against MacArthur. But also want to congratulate you two as juniors to being named one of the 5 permanent captains. So congratulations about that. And individually, why don't you tell us a little bit about what that honor means to you?
Man, I just think it's just a great opportunity, especially, like, we are the only 2 juniors, yes, but that just means, like, the whole team is counting on us, you know. It's not just like a coach's vote either. It's like the players pick who they want, and they just seen us, and, I mean, it's great to know that they trust in us.
Hud, talk a little bit about what it means to you to be, like I said, one of those permanent captains. Got some teammates over there giving you a little heck, too, and while we're here.
It means a lot to me, you know. As Kaysen said, it was a player voted. It wasn't just the coaches picked us out. So it means a lot to know that the majority of the players on this team think that me and Kaysen are leaders no matter how old we are. Even as juniors, they can look up to us when times get hard. So it just means a lot.
Like I said, I also want to give a shout-out to Ritson, Meyer, Brody Morrison, and Phillip. Peebushy as well. I got to say it right. I got it wrong again. So we found out finally that it's not Peebushy. We've been saying it for 3 years. He's never told me anything about it until the other day. So we'll get that pronunciation right once we get down to Hillcrest next week for the big one there. Let's talk a little bit about the MAC game. Hud, you were obviously named Rough Rider of the Week. Talk a little bit about how the offensive line played and how you thought you played in that game last week.
Well, I was named Rough Rider of the Week, but as a unit, we didn't play up to the standard. You know, I had a good game, but it still wasn't good in general. It was a good first game, but it wasn't good enough. And that's just how it is across the board as well. I mean, we just got to pick it up through practice, keep getting better.
Spoken like a true captain there. Kaysen, you were named Sharpen Your Axe Player of the Week. Talk a little bit about what it was like. Obviously, you played a ton of offense last year. You did play a lot of defense last year, too, but this year was kind of the first year you're stepping into that role of kind of being the quarterback of the defense and calling the plays and things like that and being that vocal guy there. Talk a little bit about kind of what it was like out there in the middle with your brother and playing defense on that side and calling plays and things along those lines.
Yeah, I mean, it was great. It's always great being out there with my brother, but – you know, it's a lot different being the guy that's calling the plays now instead of just calling the strength and just telling them where to line up because, I mean, Coach Baker's he's not the fastest play caller out there, you know. It gets a little rough sometimes. But, I mean, everyone on the defense knows you don't get a play, you go to our base defense, and we're just going to line up and we're just going to beat you like that. That's just how it's going to go. And, I mean, we saw a lot of good things out of the defense. The first half was a little rough, but then third quarter, fourth quarter, we picked it up. And the back half of the game, I was really, really glad with how our defense went out there and held up.
That was going to kind of be my next question for you was talk a little bit about some of those adjustments. Obviously, everybody seemed a little bit more comfortable there in the third quarter, not only on the defensive side of the ball, but also on the offensive side of the ball. Talk about some of those adjustments that were made and, like I said, how y'all got a little bit more comfortable there in the second half.
Yeah, man. It was just like we just knew, like, once we were coming back out, there's no doubt we're going to lose this game. Like, we're coming out here and we're just gonna line up and beat you. We did have a little line switch from Braden Jones and Tucker New. They did switch, and, I mean, even if they didn't switch, I feel like it would have just – we could have played straight up and we would just beat them, you know?
Cool. So let's get to know you guys a little bit better. We asked this question last week. So, Kaysen, you got the mic right now. What's your favorite subject in school?
Oh, I really like that 1 7th hour when, you know, you just get to go to football
and work out. Okay, that's fair enough. Hud, same question for you. Talk a little bit about kind of your favorite subject in school and things like that.
My favorite subject is definitely whatever class the coaches are teaching.
Oh, my goodness.
It's just the easiest class.
Hey, y'all are supposed to be scholar athletes here, but we're only talking about the athletic side of things. But like I said, congratulations, guys, on the 1-0 start. Got a big one this week, obviously, with the road trip down the Hillcrest. And wish you guys all the luck and look forward to seeing you guys play for the rest of the year.
Thank you.
We'll be right back. You're watching the Elgin Owl Coaches Show on the Oklahoma Sports Network. back to Burrito Miko here on a Tuesday night. Thanks for joining us for the Elgin Coaches Show. We're going to put a bow on this one and wrap this one up fairly quickly. Congratulations to the Owls, obviously starting the season 1-0 with a big victory over what has now become a little local rival. Obviously, we've won the last 4 against those guys, so it's really a fun opportunity to kind of win that. We don't get to play Lawton and Eisenhower, but sometimes we can claim the city championship depending on how Mac does against those guys. So congratulations to the team starting out 1-0. I want to thank Coach Offensive Coordinator Adam Castro. I also want to thank juniors Kaysen Meyer and Hudson Begley for joining us today. Join us every Tuesday. I say that every Tuesday, but obviously next week we do not have a game, so we will not be here from Burrito Miko next Tuesday, but we will be back 2 weeks from tonight, recapping the Hillcrest game and talking a little bit about the Newcastle game coming up. We're on the road for quite a while now. We're going to head down to Dallas this week, and then we got an off week, and then we're going to head on back up to Newcastle. So won't see us in the nest for about 3 more weeks. So it's an unfortunate deal, but I want to thank everybody that came out to the nest on Friday night. The support that you guys give to the players and to the coaches and things like that is phenomenal. It is a sight to see, and from up in the booth, when you look across the stadium and you look across and down in the stands, it's an amazing sight to see. So I want to thank you guys for coming out and want to continue and encourage you to keep coming out and supporting this great group of kids and great group of coaches. Again, I want to thank you so much for joining us here at Burrito Miko. I want to thank Miguel. Miguel's not here tonight, so we weren't able to interview him because he's at the 7th and 8th grade game, so I hope those guys are doing well tonight playing Weatherford there at the Nest. I hope those guys are doing well tonight. Like I said, join us every Tuesday night for the Coaches Show. Got a big one coming up. Got a long road trip ahead going to Dallas, but we will bring you all the live action beginning at 7 p.m. for the Coaches Show, and then kickoff set for 7:30 p.m. For Vincent Saylor and Chris Balvance, who's running the producer tonight. Got a quick little spot shout out for my cute daughter here. What do we always say when we end the program? What do we say? 1, 2, 3.
Elgin!
As always, go Owls. Woo!
Thanks for watching this presentation of the Oklahoma Sports Network.